And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Monday, December 2nd, 2024. A lot to talk about. We have numerous advisories, warnings, and things going on across the state. We do have a wet and warmer front that'll be pushing up along the Gulf Coast Tuesday through Wednesday. And this is going to bring more in the way of rain to coastal areas and even spreading inland in places. Rain and wind on top of snow, messy melting and runoff occurring in areas of the central and northern panhandle that just recently received heavy snow. And there is also going to be an icy mix of some light freezing rain drizzle develop as a low pressure works its way up across the Alaska Peninsula around Bristol Bay, the northern part of the Alaska Peninsula, Lake Iliamna, and then spreading also up into areas around Cook Inlet, including the western Kenai, Anchorage Bowl, up the Susitna Valley, starting Tuesday and lingering into Wednesday. Overall, though, an active weather pattern will continue along the Gulf Coast through mid-December because weather systems will be lifting out of the North Pacific and be rather moisture-laden at times. So Pilot Point there in the northern portion of the peninsula is expected to see some precipitation developing, especially as we go through tonight. Overcast, 23 degrees right now, may initially start out as some snow, but then it will mix with some sleet and then freezing rain as low pressure lifts out of the North Pacific and crosses that region. Now further north, Black Rapids, we'll see winds picking up through the gap there, Isabel Pass. There's a wind advisory in effect for Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday morning. Clear skies right now, just 3 above. Temperatures further down the line toward Delta Junction have been below 0 today, so the cold continues to across areas of the central eastern interior. Juneau having about a foot of wet, heavy snow, then freezing rain on top of that, made for very treacherous driving conditions and difficult snow removal. Now some light rain and fog as of mid-Monday afternoon, 34 degrees. This next system coming in, this next front will be warmer still and likely push temperatures above 40 degrees in Juneau with periods of moderate to locally heavy rain. So it's just going to be a real mess. Further south, Klawak there, rain and fog, 52 degrees right now. We'll see temperatures a few degrees warmer than that into the mid-50s with periods of moderate to locally heavy rain in the southern panhandle along with gusty winds Tuesday and Wednesday. So here is where the hazardous weather is going to be. I think we'll start out first with the panhandle, what's going on now. Still winter storm warnings into early Tuesday morning for the Haines area. Winter weather advisory for White Pass. An additional few inches of snow could fall up that way through tonight just because the cold air is able to hang on longer in this area. The area in blue special weather statement just indicates with this next front coming into the panhandle and into the Gulf Coast. This one's going to be even a bit warmer and wetter. We're going to see periods of moderate to locally heavy rain across the panhandle as we go through Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday. There's going to be runoff, some minor flooding or ponding of water in areas that are poorly drained. Temperatures on the outer coast, Sitka, down through Ketchikan, Craig will be above 50 degrees. Now as we go to I'll go far north here, Point Thompson and Kaktovik could see winds picking up, producing ground blizzard conditions, a winter storm watch for that for Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday afternoon. We still have winter weather advisories, Gobbler Knobs, the southern part of the Dalton Highway through noon Tuesday due to gusty winds causing blowing snow. And then as we go through Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday afternoon, we expect some stronger southeasterly winds through Isabel Pass, and that's why there is a wind advisory. Winds could gust as high as 65 miles an hour there through Isabel Pass. Then this area here of southwest, south central, we have the low that's going to track across the northern part here of the Alaska Peninsula. We have this broad warm front that'll pull up along the Gulf Coast. All this warmer air streaming northward is going to create problems in the sense precipitation will not be especially heavy here southwest, south central, but initially starting as snow. Tonight will mix with and change over to some sleet and a little freezing rain. Nothing heavy expected, but could create, like I said, some icy wintry mix here across southwest areas that include Togiak, Dillingham, King Salmon, Lake Iliamna region down through Port Haydn, Pilot Point, Giggik. And then during the day on Tuesday, as that warmer, moist air streams northward, there could be some light freezing rain or freezing drizzle first break out along areas of Cook Inlet, the western Kenai. And as that traverses northward, it may initially be a little, some snow here on the southeast slopes here of the Alaska range near west of Skowhegan. But in Talkeetna, there it's expected to be as you go up the valley. It could be some light freezing rain or pockets of freezing drizzle, not heavy amounts, but enough to make for some slippery roads. So keep that in mind. So here we have right now a little break over the southern panel. Still some pockets of lingering light rain, but here is the next front and system. The low pressure is down here, and this broad front is kind of draped up like this, will be reinforced as this system lifts northward. We have lingering area of low pressure toward the central Aleutians that's going to pull back toward the southwest still. And then weak high pressure across the far north, where areas of the interior are still seeing clear to partly cloudy skies. But here's kind of what's left of the initial front. It's kind of transitioning back more like a warm front because there is plenty of warm air down here. We have temperatures as of this afternoon, low 50s in the far southern part of the panhandle around Prince of Wales Island. And then there's the low from that batch of Arctic air that's pushing southwestward across the Aleutians. That's brought some snow showers and gusty winds with it. For late tonight into Tuesday morning, we still have high pressure up here, Mackenzie River region toward the Canadian Arctic coast. That's going to be heading southeastward. Here comes that front, warm front renewed, and this front will have even milder temperatures with it, along with areas of rain, especially along the coast there at sea level. And as that warmer air comes north, hits the colder air, it overrides it, sets up a situation where there could be some light freezing rain or patchy freezing drizzle. As we go through Tuesday afternoon, that low kind of pulls back to the northwest toward the Alaska Peninsula. The front occludes, and we have this system where the warmest air will be pulling up here into the southern half of the panhandle with rain and just a messy runoff in the places that have already had some moderate to heavy snowfall. Thompson Pass, I forgot to mention too, has a winter weather advisory for 6 to 10 inches of snow with wind gusts of 45 miles an hour. So again, it's just going to cause issues. And by Wednesday, that front does pull up into areas of the southwest in just entering south central, and then it just kind of comes on into areas of the panhandle, especially outer portions. This is what's going to keep the precipitation going. In the mountains, higher elevations, especially above 3,500, 4,000 feet, it'll be mainly snow. But where some of that moisture pulls back here, south side of the Brooks Range, into areas of the southwest interior, get some periods of at least a light snow. And we have yet more lows that'll rotate up from this region. So the weather will remain active all across the Gulf here, on and off, going through the middle of December. Tonight, still very cold. Yukon Flats, 35 below there, Fort Yukon. Number of temperatures here throughout the north, far north and interior, well below zero. Meanwhile, temperatures stay above 40 here, the southwestern and southern portion of the panhandle. Still holds on to about 29 Skagway. It's going to take a while for those temperatures to rise. Anchorage Bowl, 21, but the milder air is coming north. Temperatures into areas of south central will be getting above freezing eventually as we get through the latter part of this week. Cold air in place here. Pribilov's 28 for St. Paul. And then Tuesday afternoon, we still have some sub-zero temperatures, of course, far north and then along the Brooks Range into the eastern interior. Along the Alcan border, these temperatures could still be a bit higher, but I would expect at least lower 50s here from Sitka down to Ketchikan and Klawock. And then areas along, notice coming up here, 45 Kodiak City, 42 at Homer. Again, once that warmer air gets, you get south of that front, you can see temperatures jump up in the 40s. That's what's going to help trigger the areas of patchy light freezing rain or freezing drizzle spreading up the Susitna Valley, and also back here across areas of the southwest along Bristol Bay. And for Wednesday morning lows, maybe coming up to about 21 below there at Fort Yukon. Pretty cold along areas of the North Slope and along the Arctic Chukchi Sea and along the Beaufort Sea coastline, low temperatures in that 5 below to maybe as cold as 20 below around Dead Horse. And then on Wednesday afternoon, notice Anchorage area getting above freezing, maybe temperatures even near a bit above freezing Talkeetna. So that warmer air is going to be pulled northward. That's also going to allow temperatures mid to late week to get warmer across the interior. So notice how instead of sub-zero readings like have been occurring over the weekend and even into early this week, will give way to a little warmer weather. Meanwhile, again, I think 49, 48 may be a little understated. You still have temperatures around or at least a bit above 50, lower 50s for the outer panhandle, Sitka down through Craig and into Metlakatla. Meanwhile, across the Aleutians, it stays cooler. Temperatures below 40, but at least back up above freezing. Upper 30s to near 40 degrees, eastern Aleutians and up through the lower Alaska Peninsula. So here is the temperature outlook for December 8th through the 12th. Above normal temperatures likely throughout much of the state, with the highest likelihood occurring here for the eastern half of the mainland, from Anchorage and say Gulkana, Northway, Fairbanks. Temperatures are going to average above normal. We also have above normal temperatures the Panhandle. This implies some sort of southerly flow which keeps things warm. And precipitation, of course, when we have southerly flow, will average above normal. Now the question is, who may get the heavier snowfall? Well, of course, the mountains. And then we also have, if we have these milder temperatures, it could lead toward either some plain old rain or an icy mix of precipitation. So you want to stay tuned to later forecasts, because that's just a general outlook. The specifics as the time frame rolls by, we can narrow in on the individual systems that are coming up out of the North Pacific. But above normal precipitation is likely across the southeast, south central mainland, and much of the Panhandle, and even a bit so back here across areas of the west. And then finally, just quick taking a look at what we have for the 3-month temperature outlook for December, January, February. That is meteorological winter. Temperatures may average below normal south central along Cook Inlet, the Copper River Basin into the Panhandle, with a little above normal temperatures along the Arctic coast. So what would that imply? If we're going to start out warmer and then it all flip, we'll see if this actually pans out, because with colder temperatures here, that could either imply more in the way of precipitation, but in this case, it's thinking it maybe be a little drier, colder and drier for the latter half, 2/3 of the winter. We'll see if that happens. Back here to the north and west, precipitation forecast to average above normal, especially middle Yukon Valley, Brooks Range, North Slope, Arctic Coast, down along the west coast all the way through the YK Delta. But again, that's just a general 3-month outlook. Those are a little harder to actually verify in terms of, it's just a general outlook, at least in the shorter term coming up through mid-December. Now in the next couple of weeks, we're expecting above normal temperatures across the state of Alaska with above normal precipitation, especially here, areas around Cook Inlet, up eastern half of the Alaska Range and into the Panhandle.